Hi everyone, welcome to this Facebook Live. I am so excited that you're here because today I'm coming with something special. I'm going to be doing a client spotlight series for the next few weeks, and I'm just so delighted to bring you my first guest, Jess Scott. She's one of my amazing clients, and today I'm so excited for this because I am so inspired by her story. And I want to share with you some of the most amazing breakthroughs that she's had in going from thinking that she had a low ticket audience to now having painful clients who are paying her premium rates. And so I really want to share with you her mindset behind that, and also how she has been able to attract clients even though she's going through some of the most transformational points in her life. So I'm so excited to have her here, and I'll just tell you a little bit about Jess. So she's a coach for highly sensitive women who are really successful in their career but have people-pleasing tendencies in their personal life. So she helps them set really powerful boundaries so that they can communicate their needs and create a life that feels like home. Hi, Jess. How are you?
Hey, thanks so much for having me here. I'm so excited.
Yes, so good. Okay, cool. Let me just make sure that we are going live in the right place. And if I see people joining live, so give me a little bit of love. I see the love and the comments. Give me just 1 second. Let me just pull it up here. Make sure that I can answer all your questions. Make sure that if you have any questions for Jess, you drop them in the comments, because she's got her mindset is just so potent that we definitely want to answer your questions and give you value from a mindset perspective and from a marketing and sales perspective. So let's start by taking them a little bit to when we first started working together. Even before that, tell us a little bit about where you were at in your business and what were you experiencing at the time?
So I transitioned out of a network marketing company to be a coach full time. Mm-hmm. And as you know, with network marketing, the buy-in rate for interacting with you in that arena is low. It's a $70, you buy whatever the product is.
Yeah.
Transitioning to be a higher ticket coach was really scary for me. And I started out with a course that I ran for a year that was on the lower ticket side. I had really good launches with that, but I really wanted to increase the price and get paid a premium rate. And I would see your post talking about it, and I'm like, how do I do that? I literally thought, because people had only interacted with me at that lower ticket point, that's all they were capable of. So I made that my reality. I believed that, and I believe the message I sent to you was, I'm so nervous to lose what I've created, because I have a great following based on those lower rates. So I was afraid to take that leap because I was afraid of what I lost. And I think the first message back you said, it's just a mindset of thinking you're gonna lose something, and I just wasn't moving forward. And so that's why I signed up, because I was like, if I don't do this with you, I'm just going to be stuck at this, not taking that leap for the next, I don't even know how long, because it had been quite a bit of time.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so thank you so much for sharing that. And I remember when you first messaged me, and I just want to offer these to all of you. Jessica messaged me on a Monday, and then by Wednesday, she had paid in full 5 figures, and she's like, I'm ready to go. And I want to ask you, actually, because I think this is such a powerful lesson from a marketing perspective also, what got you from, I'm completely a stranger to you online. Yeah. And then what happened between that moment? I don't even know how you got connected with me. What happened in 48 hours for you to be I am motherfucking in, let's go. What was that? Because I think people think, oh, you need to wait for people to follow you for months before they want to make an investment. And I think yes, some people, but there are also people like Jessica. And by the way, Jessica had 20,000 followers on Instagram. You had thousands of followers. You already had a great business, so it's not you were one of those successful people that just take their time and wait to invest. You were just I'm ready, let's go, I'm all in. So tell us a little bit about that buying decision. How was that for you?
So I first saw your profile picture. You were a friend of someone's profile I was on, whom I don't remember, but it was someone. So I saw your profile picture, and that drew me in. So branding, obviously, branding elements. I liked you see some profile pictures, you're like, that's a no from me. It just doesn't jive. You know what I mean? And then you see some and you're like, oh, you're drawn to it. So the brand of it, I was like, I love what she's doing. I love the body language, everything. So I clicked on it. And then I was like down the rabbit hole. And I think I consumed your entire Instagram in like 2 nights. I read all your posts. I didn't like on any of them. I'm like one of those silent behind this. Like, I'm not going to interact with. Yeah.
Lurker.
I don't interact really. I will just like come out of the woodwork with the money. And what's funny is most of my clients are the exact same way. They're not the ride or die people commenting on my posts. Mm-hmm. I'm like, how long? They're like, oh yeah, I've read all your stuff for a couple months and now I'm in.
Yeah.
So, it was really the finesse with which you post on Instagram got me, because you give enough information to like make me salivate about it, but like not enough to do it on my own. So in a way I was like, this bitch.
This is so good. I didn't know this stuff, you guys. So I'm like finding this out along with all of you.
Like, I'm like, it's good. I could take notes on it, but I can't execute with the only this amount of stuff, so I need more. I downloaded your freebie, and, freebies are okay, but I was still like, this isn't enough. And so I think literally like 2 days later, I paid in full, and I couldn't even wait for our 90-minute first call. I made you do it on Monday.
You were like, I was like, hey, we should meet in person, because Jessica lives also in Chicago, and I was like, we should meet in person. We can do it in person. She's like, no, let's just do it now, like over the phone. Let's get into it. I'm like, okay, no worries, let's go. It was so good.
I was kind of at this place of, I don't want to say desperation, but I knew what I needed, and the language with which you spoke on your Instagram was so specific to my need. Mm-hmm. And this is something that I am even learning in my own copy, to not cast a broad net, like this fear of, even I'm writing the copy for my course coming up, and I'm like, I want to include everyone. I don't want to miss it, like that is not, you wouldn't have gotten me as a client if you were casting a broad net. So,
so good. So good. Am I hearing? I can hear myself. Oh, let me just get my headphones on.
Okay.
Because I feel like I missed this little detail. Hold on a second. I'm hearing myself. Okay. Let's see.
Better?
No, I can still hear myself. Oh, wait, I just have to change the sound here. Internal speakers, living room. Okay, I'm just going to pretend that everything's going well, because, okay, now I can't hear myself anymore, so it's all good.
Okay, good.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what was one of the biggest fears that you had investing. Because you were a little bit scared in that moment, I remember. So I think everybody has that fear of like paying in full 5 figures. Like, tell us a little bit about what was one of the scary moments, and like what made you decide to go all in?
It's a really good question. So my partner and I are in the middle of building a house, our dream house, a custom house that we designed ourselves. If you notice, I'm in a camper, and it's actually on our lot. So part of the story, I've had a lot going on. So we actually have built our entire house from cash, which is pretty awesome. And so I knew that the investment was going to take away from the cash that I had to invest in the house. I didn't tell you that at the time. I never told anyone.
Not.
So I was freaked out at the prospect of not having that money to put into what we were doing for our family. And so at that point, when you told me what the cost was, that's when I was like, can I think about it? I'm going to ask Rick, even though I have the best partner in the world. He supports everything that he's my ride or die, and I'm his ride or die. He so respects and honors what I need for my growth, and is always in my corner. So like, had I asked him, he would have been like, whatever you feel in your heart is best for our family.
Right.
So I knew I was just saying that because it was a stalling kind of tactic, you know? It was scary.
Yeah.
And so what you said to me was, it was almost like a polling technique. Like, why are you polling? Like, do you know what you need for yourself? And that's something that I coach women on, is to stop polling. And I was like, dang, kind of called me out of my own stuff. And so it was really powerful. And the one question is, if you were to not sign up now and left this, what would that feeling tonight be like? And I was in such a place of like, I need guidance that like I would have, if I didn't sign up, the anxiety would have still been there. And so it would have been alleviated, and I would have just been keeping on living that same life. And so I knew I didn't want that.
Right.
So like after I paid, there was such an alleviation of what I had been feeling that it was like, oh, like I would have paid that like again just to feel so much better. Like I had someone in my corner, you know?
Totally. Yeah. And I just, I remember actually asking you like, what do you think your partner will say? And then you're like, he will just support me. So I'm like, so what really is at stake here? And you're like, oh my gosh. And so we got deeper into like what was going on for you emotionally. And I remember so vividly like talking about like, what like if you want people to invest at a high level in you, like going all in on you is going to give you so much a deeper level of integrity to know that there's like, what would you say to your clients if they were in this situation? And so that was like such a beautiful experience because I didn't really have to say much. It was just you kind of coaching yourself and using the tools that you use for yourself and your clients in that specific situation. So that was just so beautiful.
I will say another thing that I liked about that moment, I mean, I'm a coach that likes to sit in the pain. Like I heal past pains with my clients, help them look at the stuff that they have had maybe poor coping mechanisms to get around, like a sidestep, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm a type 4 in the Enneagram. I don't want to say I love the pain, but like it's beautiful to me. And so your ability to like sit there with me, I think we talked about it for probably like 30 minutes. And like at the end, you're like, I got to hand it to you. You really hung with me in it. And I was like, oh, I love this. Like, this is what I live for. I love yeah, I loved witnessing my own excuses, my own anxiety. And it was really kind of like a really big teaching, beautiful moment. So I think that when you're on a sales call, and what it's taught me is to not flinch at the pain, the uncomfortability. I sent Juliana a screenshot this today that said, my favorite part of my sales process is to say the price and then shut up. Cause like the uncomfortability of it, just to relax into it.
Yes. And this is such a huge lesson for all of you who are watching and you feel uncomfortable when you know, just the thought of a sales call makes you uncomfortable, or the thought of saying the price that you haven't shared before, and just what's going to come back, or like the objection or the fear that's going to come back to you. Like I invite you to really see that as an opportunity to look at like just feeling the comfort in the discomfort, and like being in it with your client instead of kind of exiting and being like, you don't have to tell me right now, that's fine, you can think about it, no worries, okay, bye, because you're not allowing the person to really confront what's actually there for them. And it's so powerful to hold space for them to come to a decision, for them to be with the fears that they are avoiding on a daily basis, and actually just hold the space for them and like really help them like look at it. And without any judgment, it's just like really coaching them through it. So coaching people through objections is really just holding space for them to make the best decision, and also really holding them to their own standard, which I think is so important. You already had that amazing standard, so it was just like, it was such a beautiful experience. I love sales calls, are like my favorite thing ever. I just love it. Okay, cool. So I really want to get into some of the things that blow me away about you and your transformation have been how you have been able to handle having a hypothyroidism or something with your thyroid really badly, like condition that is like taking you out, like not not easy to handle. On top of building a house, you still invested in yourself. And you went from thinking, I don't think that I can attract premium clients because I have all these followers, but they only buy low ticket products. And now you have more 9 paid in full one-on-one clients, and you've been able to do this throughout this whole time with all of these balls. And by the way, she's a mom as well, everybody. So I just really want to take people behind the scenes of what was it like for you to, how did you coach yourself? What were some of the things and the mindset shifts that you had to have along the way for you to be able to get that result and have clients, even though shit was going down in your life? Tell us a little bit about that.
One of the opening things that really has stuck with me and really helped me was, I remember, I was kind of going through this rebranding and rebirth of my own stuff. And I remember on our first call, I was like, do I have to be a business coach to make money?
Yes. Oh, such a big one for so many people. Do I need to be a business coach to make money? What did I tell you?
You were like, do you like talking about business? And I was like, fuck no, but I can do it if it's going to make me money. And so it was so crazy. I look back and one of your beautiful gifts is you help your clients embrace who they naturally are. And you kind of draw out, I guess kind of like a mom, like I do for my daughter. I draw out what her beautiful qualities are and make sure she knows that through and through. And so mirror for me what my talents are, and then try to pull those together into what a brand would be. And so I was like, okay, so I don't have to be a business coach.
No.
And so then I really was like, okay, well, and I had already been coaching women in my courses, but I was like, so who am I truly? And I really was able to step into that and really be myself. And it's been the growth of my business has been the growth of my self-acceptance of who I really am. And even being if you guys know anything about an Enneagram, 4s on the Enneagram are these melancholy, feeling, overly emotional. Yeah. And even just putting it in my profile on Instagram, I know who I am. And in my knowing of myself, that's the only way I help other women know themselves fully to live a love.
Just if you're all watching, you have to go follow Jessica right now because she's just so authentic to who she is. And I feel my style of coaching is let's amplify your truth and who you really are, and let's make that be exactly what is online. Let's not cover it up with anything other than who you really are, and let's create offers and a package and a brand that's magnetic for people, but let's honor your truth. So in you already were grounded in your truth, and I don't want to be any business coaching kind of person, and you already kind of had this your value is authenticity. One of your main values is authenticity, and so we obviously align on that. And so for me, it's just adding fuel to the fire of who you already were and kind of giving you permission to own more of that, and then from there I think things just kind of escalated into cuff. I remember you were like, okay, I'm getting all these I'm getting discovery calls, or how do I close people? And I was like, okay, here's a crash course on sales. And I sent you an 8-minute Voxer training on how to close, literally my whole sales training in just 8 minutes, just crash course. And you just started enrolling people and started being cool, I'm taking this.
99%. I haven't had anyone tell me no since I've been using your sales call process. Really, the only 2 people, and I told you this on our last call, the only 2 people who ended up either backing out or something crazy happened or didn't end up going through were people who I knew intuitively were a hell freaking no. And I either was stepping outside of, I was like, well, I know I could help them even though they're not my ideal client. That type of where we all have seen it before. We've all not listened to that inner.
I'm so glad you said no, because that ends up badly.
And those are the only 2 that I haven't closed on. So it's just been really Awesome.
So good. And I haven't even sent her the full training. I just sent you today the full training, which is so funny. And so what I like, the reason why I want to, I'm like shining the light on that is because it doesn't have to take a long time to get results. Like, it doesn't have to take a long time for you to be able to step into your power and start attracting people. It's just about getting really grounded in your truth, knowing what are your strengths and what are not your strengths. Like, really not betraying your truth for the sake of being somebody that you don't really want to be online or in your business, right? It's just really staying super truthful to who you are, and then like learning, like when you're grounded in that, implementing the tactics and the strategies, it just kind of makes it all flow. So and I'm just so freaking blown away by your ability to show up and book yourself with 9 clients throughout this whole time. By the way, we haven't even finished working together. This is just like month 2 or month 3. Because Jessica took a little break when she was healing her thyroid. So this is what is available to all of you who are watching when you're able to really be true to yourselves. So I really want to highlight that. You don't have to be a business coach. Okay, so I want to move on to the next question. I really want to understand a little bit more about like, what are some of the things that you help people with? Because I want people to know what you're about, who you help, so that you can share. If anyone in the audience feels identified with what you do, I want them to like soak up all of your wisdom. So tell us a little bit about who you help, how you help them, and a little bit of your backstory so that we can wrap up with that.
So I'll start with my backstory because if we were talking about building a story brand, my life story is my brand.
Yes.
So it's really easy for me to talk about. I'm a highly sensitive person, and I tried to abandon that for a long time. Even in my previous network marketing experience, I showed up in a way that was inauthentic to me. Because I thought I had to be a certain way. So, and I did this on our last call, and I'll do it again. Like, people online that are like, hey guys, I'm like, and they're all like extroverted. I'm totally an introvert. I'm a homebody. Like I live in the country. Like I live in the middle of nowhere. The town I live in has 1,000 people. So like I live in Illinois, but not in Chicago. Yeah. So like, I really abandoned what I liked, who I was, and being a highly sensitive person. So this is where like you notice nuances of things, you notice things in your environment, you feel things deeply, like the arts and, you know, all these beautiful sounds like move you. There's a quiz online you can take. It's not just like, oh, are you a sensitive person? That's not what I'm talking about. Yeah. Most people probably know that. But growing up like this, if you're around people who aren't highly sensitive, they don't see the world how you see the world. I was with my daughter's father. I was with him for 12 years. He's not a highly sensitive person. So it was continually a boundary violation that I was going through with him and everyone else in my life, because I was like, oh, like what I'm getting, no one else is getting. Like what I'm feeling and seeing, what I'm taking in from the world was not what anyone else was getting. So it's like I'm seeing red and, you know, Juliana's seeing blue. And because I'm so sensitive, I'm like, I don't want to be odd man out. So like, yeah, I'm seeing blue too. And so if we're not rooted in who we are and like what we value and what we stand for, we're going to be so wishy-washy. And this is where people-pleasing behavior comes in. Yeah. We don't have boundaries to be like, this is who I am. This is what I need. And so my story of like kind of softening into like coming home to myself was a lot of my healing. This is the healing journey I've been on for the last 5 years. And so now that I know who I am, I'm able to hold space for women who are still trying to figure this out, whether it's because of motherhood or just going from, you know, being a young woman to a woman and becoming that. That's another thing, you know? Totally. So I'm able to hold space for women who are figuring out, what do I value now that I'm a woman, now that I'm a career woman, now that I have my own business? And how do I, if I'm a highly sensitive person, I pick up so much in my surroundings. How do I set up boundaries to continually honor my own self-care and self-growth so that people aren't always coming in stealing my energy, or I'm not wishy-washy with my behavior.
Amen.
I can just be grounded and rooted in who I am and then create my life from that knowingness.
Oh, so good. And you're so amazing at coaching women specifically in that area. And like, I don't know if I don't consider myself a highly sensitive woman. I'm like more an extrovert. And this is also something really beautiful for you guys to see that, like, I imagine if I was kind of dimming down my light to only appeal to highly sensitive women, or to not leave out coaches who are highly sensitive. Like, I would be freaking myself out if just to try to fit into someone's profile. And so I think it's just so beautiful to know, like, you are being the full expression of who you are, and leveraging your story to attract people who are like you, and you're attracting those people, and I'm being fully me, and I'm attracting people like you who are like highly sensitive but need the gifts that I have. And so it's just so beautiful for all of you to know, like, you don't have to change yourself in order to fit, in order to be likable to your clients, or in order to like anyone, not just clients, but anyone. It's really about really honoring your truth. And I feel like you and I have that foundation of like authenticity and truth that are like so important to both of us. It just happens to be on like different levels. And so it's just so beautiful.
I've noticed too, now that you say that, every single one of my either business coach or life coach, all the coaches I've hired have always been more extroverted, like way more. Like, I think they're all been like, I know you're a 3 Enneagram. So like, I think they are. And it's so funny because you never know who needs what. Like, you might not enroll clients that are just like you, you know, like I would probably never enroll with like a 4 Enneagram. Like I have enough for,
you don't need more of that shit.
I need that's why I signed up with you, you know? So, it's a beautiful balance, but like you never can find out who you're going to attract if you're trying to be someone you're not.
Yeah, 100%. Totally agree. So any 4s out there, just know that having a coach who's a 3 is a good idea. Okay. So the last thing that I want to ask you is, if someone's watching this, and they're like, ooh, I want to work with Juliana, but I'm on the fence. What would you tell them?
I would say you have to do the same thing that I did. Like, where are you in your life, and how could she provide kind of this liaison, or like this bridge for you to get to where you want to be? She has so much wisdom that like I'm like writing like ferociously during our calls. Thank God they're recorded. But she's really been able to catapult me into that next level, just by having someone in my corner. And so you have to do exactly what I did. What if you don't sign up? Like, what is your life going to be like if it continues on this path? And I was just saying, was I saying this to my partner, Rick, yesterday? I mean, people can figure out, they don't have to hire me and they don't have to hire you. They could figure out all this on their own, 100%. I will never purport that I am like the end all be all and like this miracle worker, right? But I have done this journey. I know this path, and I know how to deliver things in such a succinct, understandable, digestible way that what would take you maybe 3 years can be accomplished in maybe 6 months with me. Or, you know, what you've learned over the course of 10 years, it might take me 4 years to figure it out. I don't have that kind of time. So just give me you know, and so you're paying for that elevation at like that, at that degree. So it's kind of like a fast track, I guess.
Totally.
As opposed to figuring that out on your own. If I hadn't had the coaches along the way, and you, when I found you, like, let's not think about it.
Yeah, let's not go down the rabbit hole. That's not the vision we want to paint in the world. So good. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. I just really want to honor you because you have been such an, like, fierce, like, in your softness. You're just like rise to the challenge, and you do it in your own sensitivity and at your own pace, and you honor yourself with so much grace, and you still motherfucking show up. You still do the damn thing, and you get coaching. You're in the court, and you're so committed to your vision that like nothing trust me, even if you didn't work with me, I know you'll get there. And like, I just see your commitment and I feel your passion and like all of the hundreds of people that send you messages. Because by the way, guys, like this woman has like 10 times more followers than I do. And she gets like hundreds of messages from people who are like, you are literally such an inspiration. So I just really want to honor you for like saying yes to yourself and going all in, not just in working with me, but really showing up for your audience and being of service to them, because not everybody listens to the call and picks up the phone, right? And just really want to honor you for that. And it's just such an honor to be your coach. I just love you so much.
Thank you. Love you.
All right, loves. Well, where can you, just want to share with everyone, where can they follow you? Where can they find you? And do you have anything coming up that they can, if they're like a highly sensitive woman and they want to work with you, how can they work with you? What have you got?
So I don't have a website. That's the other kicker.
Yeah.
It's funny. I follow these clients and I don't even have a website. It's coming, but you can send me a message on Instagram or on Facebook. I actually have Jessica Scott Instagram handle. I know. I can't believe I got it.
That's amazing.
But it's just Jessica Scott, 2 T's, same on Facebook. And I have a mini course. It's 14 days coming up, launching very, very soon. It's called Coming Home to You for the holidays. So it's a mini course for highly sensitive women to beat really that overwhelm, that overstimulation that we so often get when we're highly sensitive and around the holidays, really enacting boundaries so you can stand in your values, know how to communicate your needs and get your needs met during these like crazy holiday season that's like really going to be here in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, totally. Thank you so much. Everybody go follow Jessica. She is just such a amazing energy to be around, even just on social media. So I love you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you all for tuning in. I will be replying to all your comments. Thank you for all the love. I'm like picking on the comments and being like, oh, thank you. So thank you so much for being here, all of you. And I will see you guys next week with the next Client Spotlight episode. Mwah. Bye.
Bye.